Since the release of Pokémon Legends ZA, the world has been in a constant debate. Is the game good or is it bad? Now, I personally haven't played it yet. I don't have an opinion, but I did watch a bunch of reviews, and it seems that the vast majority actually dislikes the game. This video focuses on a broader question. What makes a game good and what makes a game bad? And as a case study, we'll throw in some examples from Pokémon Legends ZA. Let's jump in. First, the constructs of good and bad felt a bit too vague and subjective, so for the purpose of this specific video, I'll replace the terms a tiny bit. For the sake of the conversation, let's replace good with enjoyable and bad with non-enjoyable. I think this perspective helps us a bit in linking the video to a better practical framework. Now let's go back to the initial question and rephrase. What makes a game enjoyable and what makes a game non-enjoyable? To answer this, I will go back in 2009, in which a Mexican PhD student named Calvillo Gamez created a strong foundational base and defined a new theory named the core elements of gaming experience. His theory can be summarized like this. Enjoyment while playing games is achieved by the player's perception of the video game and the player's interaction with it. Now, player's perception is defined as the video game dimension, and the player's interaction is defined as puppetry. Let's dive deeper into these two dimensions and actually give some examples. The video game dimension contains two subdimensions. The environment, for example, graphical aspects and sound design, and gameplay, including scenario or rules. And related to this, I saw a lot of reviews of Pokémon Legends ZA, and people were angry about specifically these aspects, and it makes total sense. This theory demonstrates empirically that these two subdimensions influence directly the enjoyment during gameplay. The in-game world felt flat, empty, boring, and the overall scenario was kind of strange. That doesn't really help in creating an enjoyable game. Let's focus on the puppetry dimension, which is formed by the player's sense of ownership and the player's sense of control, and is modulated by facilitators. These again are connected variables, so let's just go one by one. Control is the starting point of puppetry. And simply put, the control dimension focuses on the player's ability to learn and manipulate the game's basic mechanics. As you can imagine, it includes mechanical aspects like using controllers and also virtual aspects, such as understanding small actions like jumping, throwing Pokeballs, and having something to do to actually stay engaged without feeling bored. I think that people's frustration in relation to Pokémon Legends ZA was also related to this. A world in which you don't have much to do, actions kind of feel repetitive, and the new battle mechanics are a bit too basic. That again doesn't help with having like an engaging digital creation. My 2 cents is that the mechanics actually seem extracted from a cozy game rather than a Pokemon series. Or maybe the game is intended to be a cozy game? I don't know. Next, and probably the most insightful, the facilitators dimension. This dimension aims to bridge gaps to achieve ownership by motivating the player to persist or to overlook flaws. And I'll give you some examples. The aesthetic value of the game, such as graphics, sounds, or overall presentation, is a factor that could support players to overcome issues related to, for example, non-optimized mechanics or smaller maps. Another example, if the player already has a lot of time to invest and has a connection to the genre, that could also support them in overlooking different types of flaws. And I think this touches upon an important point when we talk about Pokemon. Most players have a deeper connection with the game. I think they could have received anything functional and would have still enjoyed the game because of this. Lastly, combining control and facilitation, the dimension of ownership then influences enjoyment. This dimension describes the psychological investment of the in-game actions and outcomes of the player. I'll explain. It comes into play when the player feels that the in-game events represent the results of their deliberate choices, or when the player actually feels a sort of level progression and autonomy. Pokemon is pretty good with this generally and does give a sense of ownership. Anyways, I feel that the model could actually be enhanced in the current economy. I think that the model is missing the relationship between price and expectations, subject at which Pokémon Legends EA has been quite controversial. Now, what do you think? Did you enjoy Pokémon Legends EA or did not? Should I play it? Let's engage in a conversation using the comment section below. By the way, the theory that I just presented also has a very simple and interesting questionnaire associated with it, allowing you, for example, to determine a bit more objectively the level of enjoyment a specific game brings to you. I will leave the link in the description below. If you enjoyed the video, feel free to like, subscribe, and comment down below. It helps the channel immensely. As you may know, this channel focuses on the science of games. Here are a couple of more videos that you may want to watch next. Until next time, game on!